Hello everybody, CW here. My barrel arrived. Let's get it open. Let's get it open here. This is the Contender Carbine 7x30 waters barrel that I picked up online from a gentleman that I've talked to for years. And he told me it was no peach. It had some hard life. And we worked a deal. And let's hope that, he said it was a shooter, not, you know, tack driver or anything, but he said it shot more than adequate for a hunting gun. And that he had spent some time with it cleaning it out and had a little bit of copper fouling. Let's see what we got here. Good packing. That's appreciated. Post office is not generally very easy on packages. And I know you can't see nothing. I can't either. All wrapped up here good. Okay, here we go. Doesn't look atrocious. No sights, and that's fine. And that's fine. It's not going to have sights on it anyway. We're going to put a scope on it. He said it came with the base, which is nice. Threads look okay. I got rid of my bore scope. It didn't really, I didn't like how it worked. It wasn't a really good one. So we'll just go back to the old school flashlight. And it's got lots of squirrel marks in there. We'll run a, let's run a snake through it. Do I got a 28 snake? Huh. I don't have a 28 snake. 25, 24, 32, 35, 45, 41, 22, 17. I'm going to have to get me a 28 snake. Let's run a 25 through just to run something through here. It's small enough that it'll be okay. I won't have any problems. Put some of my favorite lube on here. That's my favorite. Not so much for cleaning, but for corrosion prevention. I really like that stuff. And it's coming through with some resistance. Enough to knock the cobwebs and loose debris out. Let's look again. Oh yeah. Quite a bit cleaner. So, let's get a cartridge and drop it in the chamber. In my box of dies. And put our knife away. We get to cut. Now these were all dummies that were made up for my last barrels. Yeah. That one goes right in, no problem. That one goes right in with a little resistance, but no problem. And these here were fired in the old one. A little bit of resistance. It would go right in, but I don't want to have to get a rod to pull it out. That one goes right in, no problem. And that's probably a 120 ballistic tip. Here's a formed 30-30 case. This should go right in, yeah. No shoulder there to worry about. Here's another one. This is a what? This is a 130 single shot pistol bullet in a 30-30 case. Yep, right in. I don't have any cast bullets for 7mm. That's a 120 Hornady single shot. I'm sorry, SX, no. What are those? SST? VMAX? VMAX. All right, goes right in. I don't want to put it on the gun here because I don't want to violate anything with YouTube. So let me turn you off, put it on, and then turn you back on. I know it sounds really silly, but that's how they are. They don't want to show any kind of assembly or anything. So there's one of the marks he was probably talking about. Over here, which doesn't bother me. It's a hunting gun, so it's gonna get some nicks and bangs on it. And this stock set isn't perfect. You see, there's a mark right there, and there's probably a couple more. And there's a couple of dings right there, so it's no big deal. But as Contenders are swap barrel guns, it goes right on, no problem. There we go. And we're going to put this Redfield 2-7 compact on here. Let's get that done. Maybe I'll find some plug screws, because up here we've got no plug screws. I'll find a couple of plug screws for that. Again, I can't show it to you because I don't want to have any problems with YouTube. But let's put the scope on here, and I'll come back. And there we are. I really wish I could have showed it to you, because there really is a big need for videos on how to mount a scope properly. I guess I can tell you the fine points, so I just can't show them to you. But one of the big ones is, don't trust the factory. Don't trust the guy you got it from, your best buddy. Don't trust anybody when it comes to the scope mounting. And it's not a big deal. It's not a slight. It's not anything. It's just peace of mind. And so many problems can be solved accuracy-wise, knowing that things were done properly. And not that you're the only one that can do them properly, but peace of mind. You know when you do them, and you do them properly, you know that they're done right, and they're not going to be a problem for you down the road. So that's what I mean when I say do them yourself. It's not a big deal, and you'll know they're done right. And what that is factory new or used or whatever. Clean your screw holes with a good solvent. Pick them out if they've got, like these front ones here had some red Loctite in them. So I had to pick all that out, scrape it all out, because red Loctite, although it's a good thing, it's a space. It's going to inhibit the threading. It's going to inhibit the depth the screws can go in. It's going to inhibit the way everything fits. It worked for the last mounting, but it may not work for you. So start from scratch. Start from fresh. Clean them all out. Degrease with brake cleaner or carb cleaner. Degrease them. Don't touch them. Degrease your screws. All the screws come with a film of oil on them so they don't rust. Degrease them. You want them dry. You want no oil on them. And then get good locking compounds. Permatex is the big name. That's Loctite. But there's a lot of really great companies out there that make great products. They're all over the place. Here's a really good one that I've been using for Vibratite for my little tiny screws on my reflex sights. This stuff is really nice. It's like a gel, and it really works really, really well. It's pretty expensive. It's probably twice Loctite, and Loctite ain't cheap, but you only need a little bit, and a little bit goes a long way. So, invest in Loctite's thread locking compounds, and start with degreased threads and holes. Very, very, very important. And then don't rush things. Give it a good 24 or 48 or 36 hours before you use that item. Let that thread locker do its thing. Let it dry, let it harden, let it get to a point where it can do what it's supposed to do. Don't rush it. No reason to rush it. You're just going to cause yourself problems and headaches. So once you have your holes degreased, mount your screws. You can look online and find proper torque specs for all threads. And they're going to be different for different sizes. 6s are different than 8s. 8s are different than 10s. They're different. Thread pitches have different torques. When you're dealing with these small screws, you're dealing with inch pounds, not foot pounds. And a nice torque wrench, something like this Wheeler fat wrench, is really nice. It lets you know what you've got, and you're not going to go too far. Torque them down, then go to your mounts, your scope mounts. I don't like any thread lockers on any of the screws on my scope rings. I'll use red Loctite or a permanent Loctite on the base screws. It'll come out. Don't worry about it. You can get it out. You just need to use heat. Not a big deal. A soldering iron will get hot enough and direct the heat directly on that screw to get it out. You can sacrifice a bit. Take a bit, stick it in the device, in the screw, heat the bit. It'll screw up the heat temper on this bit. You throw it away, but you'll get the screw out. You can use an Allen wrench. If it's an Allen wrench, screw the Allen wrench in there. Heat this Allen wrench. It'll transfer right down the Allen wrench into the screw. You'll get the screw out. Throw the wrench away. Screws up the heat temper. You can get them out. Don't fret. Don't think red is permanent. It's permanent from the standpoint of you need to use something else to get it out besides a tool. Once you get that done, that's your base. Go to your rings. Just follow your torque specs on the screws. Torque them down to torque specs. Make sure your optic is straight, square to the bore. What I use is a plumb bob, and you can make it yourself. Just hang a string, if you're in your basement or your garage, hang a string from a rafter and put a weight on it. Any weight, fishing weight, wrench, doesn't matter. It's going to hang straight. It's going to give you a straight vertical line. You get the rifle straight and square with bubble level. You look through the scope. You line up the vertical strata line with that plumb bob with a straight square gun. Your scope's straight. Your scope's square. Very, very, very important if you're going to be shooting any kind of distance. A little bit crooked here or there. You're not going to notice it. Maybe a little bit hard to sight in at 100 yards, but you'll get it. When you get it perfectly square and true, really, 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 really important as you start stretching distances past 100 yards. Get it straight, get it square. Don't go by your eye. You may cant the rifle on your shoulder. Your buddy may cant it. Don't let him tell you your scope's crooked. If you know it's straight, he's mounting it crooked. Do it square. Do it with a bubble level. Do it with a plumb bob. It'll be perfect. Doesn't matter what it looks like to you because you're mounting it to your shoulder wrong. As long as you know you put it on with a plumb bob and with a level, it's done right. And then before you tighten down your screws on your rings, push your scope forward. Push the rings forward in the scope. What happens is when this goes off, the rifle comes to the rear. Well, everything is static and still. Okay, it's still on your shoulder. You're looking through the scope. You're ready to shoot your rifle. You're ready to squeeze the trigger. Everything is still. That gun recoils quickly, fast, back. Well, the scope, it's a heavy item. It has some mass and weight to it. It's going to want to stay still. So what's it going to do? It's going to drive those mounts forward. If you don't tighten it up with it forward against the stops, these cross slots forward, if you don't do that, it's going to creep ever so slightly, or it's going to flex. That's going to mean inaccuracy. inconsistency and poor problems, poor accuracy, headaches down the road, trying to sight the gun in, trying to get good accuracy, push your rings forward against the stops, tighten them down. Position this for the lowest and the highest setting on a comfortable shoulder. You don't want it too far forward, you don't want it too far back, you want it to be comfortable, you want to get a full view of your field of view. You don't want a black ring around the outside. So get it set for you. What it does for your buddy doesn't matter. How it is for you. We all shoulder a rifle a little bit different. We got stock crawlers and we got stock creepers. We got everybody different. Set it up for you. It's your gun. Set it up so you have a good full view through that scope. Height of the rings. I like them as low as I can get them. Ergonomically, I feel it gives me the best platform for accuracy. I'm not going to tell you you have to have this done. If you're asking me what to do, I'm going to tell you to mount it low as you can. You do what you like. You do what you prefer. But I will tell you that those people who know, those people in the know, those people shooting accuracy are going to mount that scope as close to the bore as they can, because that relationship of the bore to the scope is going to have a lot to do with trajectory, your drops, long range impacts. Big deal. Get that scope as low as you can if you're shooting really long range. Why you never see shoot through scopes on a 1,000-yard gun. Think about that. And there you go. So, for me, I'm going to clean the barrel next. I'm going to give it a good scrubbing. He said he had some copper in there. He showed some pictures with his bore scope, had a little bit of copper in there. So I'm going to start with a clean barrel, and I'll put my cooties in there. And there we go. I haven't had one of these in a long time. This was my wife's deer rifle. And with everything that's going on in my life with her, I've just gotten a little melancholy with stuff like that. So having this back now, even though this isn't the exact same barrel, it's the same caliber. This is the scope that was on it when she had it. So this will now be with me forever. There we go. God bless everybody. CW out.
Woohoo! Yeah.